The green haze of the jungle canopy glowed under the planet's twin suns. Steam rose from moss-covered trunks. Insects the size of a man's hand buzzed through the damp, dense air. On planet Virex 9, the jungle never slept, and survival wasn't guaranteed. Not for the native species, and certainly not for off-worlders. Elias Ward wasn't supposed to be here. His transport shuttle, the stalwart Echo, had suffered a systems failure during atmospheric re-entry. He'd been forced to eject, landing hard in the middle of Virex 9's untamed heart. It had been 4 days of trudging through alien flora and avoiding teeth, claws, and things that slithered. His wrist beacon was fried. The emergency flare kit. Lost in the crash. His only hope was to keep moving northeast toward what appeared to be the remains of an old outpost station, barely visible on his outdated holomap. He was low on rations, his muscles ached, and his makeshift spear was beginning to splinter. Then he heard it. Sound. Not the shriek of a predator, not the hiss of wind through vines, but a voice. A voice crying for help. It was high-pitched, reverberating strangely through the jungle's acoustics, echoing off trees and vibrating in his bones. The words weren't English, but they were unmistakably a plea. Someone or something was in trouble. Elias hesitated. He was a mechanic, not a soldier. But he couldn't walk away. He pressed through the foliage toward the sound. What he found made his pulse race. Suspended in a living net of thorny vines was an alien woman. Her silver skin streaked with blood and sap. She was humanoid in form, 2 arms, 2 legs, but taller than him at least 7 feet, her limbs more sinewy, her fingers longer. Her hair was a cascading curtain of bioluminescent threads that flickered in a panic-induced rhythm. She turned to him, her violet eyes wide with pain and desperation. She didn't speak again, just groaned and winced as the vines tightened around her. "Hang on," Elias said instinctively, raising his hands. "I got you." The vines weren't just plants, they were reacting to her struggles, tightening like sentient rope. He circled her cautiously, avoiding the snaking tendrils reaching toward him. He slashed at the vine nearest her ankle with his splintering spear. It recoiled with a shriek. "Great. They feel pain," he muttered. He pulled a small vibrocutter from his belt, one of the few tools that survived the crash, and began slicing her free. Each cut made the vines shriek louder, writhing in fury. But he kept going, finally catching her as she fell into his arms. She was heavier than she looked, all lean muscle and alien biology. "I'm not here to hurt you," Elias said, lowering her gently onto a flat stone. She blinked slowly, chest rising and falling in rapid breaths. Then, in a crackling voice, she spoke a word. "Hank, you speak standard?" he asked, surprised. Her throat clicked. "Small words. Green. Speak, little." Elias gave her some of his water. She sipped it and shuddered. "I'm Elias," he said. "You got a name." She blinked again. "Arizai." "All right, Arizai. Let's patch you up and get out of here before the jungle gets any ideas." For the next 2 days, Elias nursed her back to health in a makeshift shelter. He wrapped her wounds, shared his dwindling rations, and kept watch. She was clearly recovering fast, faster than a human could, but still too weak to walk long distances. Her species, the Zaldaran, were from a water-rich moon near the edge of known space. Arizai was part of a peace envoy, one whose shuttle had been sabotaged by pirates. She'd crash-landed here weeks before Elias. Her crew, dead or missing. "You came for my cry," she said one night, her voice steadier now. Elias shrugged. "I guess I did." "Why?" she asked, tilting her head. You do not know me. You risk death." He leaned back against a tree, staring at the canopy. Because it was the right thing to do. She was silent for a long time. Then she whispered, "That makes you rare." On the 5th day she stood unaided. "We move now," she said. "North. My ship's beacon, one still pulses. Must be survivors. Or power source." Elias agreed, though his body screamed in protest. The jungle didn't welcome their journey. They were stalked by a creature Elias dubbed the Blade Tail, a massive quadruped with skin like obsidian armor and a tail ending in a vibrating bone blade. Ari's eye distracted it while Elias built a spike trap, baited with rations. When the beast lunged, it was impaled, twitching violently as green blood soaked the soil. She looked at him differently after that. "You are not just a fixer," she said, her glowing hair dim with dusk. "You are a fighter." "I'm whatever I need to be," he replied. "Aren't we all?" The remnants of her shuttle were half swallowed by the jungle, but the beacon was intact. The wreckage pulsed faintly, emitting a low, rhythmic signal. As they approached, Ari's eye froze. Elias followed her gaze. 2 figures stood among the wreckage. Pirates. Not the spacefaring kind, but jungle-hardened survivors with scavenged weapons and cruel smiles. They were alien too, one a 6-eyed Saldran, the other a squat, tusked Burog, both heavily armed. Ari's eye growled low in her throat. "They are the ones," she whispered, "who killed my crew." They hadn't seen Elias and Ari's eye yet. He ducked behind a thick tree, breathing hard. "We can't take them head-on." She drew in a breath. "Then we don't. Go left. Distract. You flank." "That's still crazy." She met his eyes. "You saved me. Now I return the favor." Before he could argue, she slipped into the underbrush like a shadow. Moments later, a shriek rang out. Ari's eye leapt from the trees, her bioluminescent hair blazing, claws bared. The Saldran fired his blaster wildly as she darted between trees. Elias crept around the other side, picked up a fallen length of alloy, and swung it into the back of the Burog's knee. The brute roared, turned, and caught a full-body tackle from Elias that sent them both into the dirt. A brawl ensued. Grunts, punches, blood. Then a blaster went off. Elias rolled to his feet, dazed, expecting the worst. But Ari's eye stood tall, the Saldran at her feet, unmoving. She had a nasty gash across her arm, but her eyes gleamed with triumph. The Burog groaned beside Elias. Ari's eye walked over and silenced him with a precise strike to the temple. Elias stared at her. "You're terrifying," he muttered. She gave a faint smile. "Only when I must be." They scavenged supplies from the bodies and activated the beacon at full strength. The signal now broadcasted into orbit, a distress call any passing patrol would recognize. For 2 more days, they waited in a makeshift shelter by the wreck. They talked. Ari's eye told him of her people, their songs sung beneath waterfalls, their ships shaped like coral. Elias spoke of Earth's oceans, its dry humor, and the greasy smell of shipyards. "You are not like the humans in our stories," she said once. "Let me guess, they're all conquerors or cowards." "Mostly. But you listened. You bled. You stayed." Elias looked at her. "So did you." Their hands brushed. Neither pulled away. On the 9th day, a rescue shuttle descended with a roar of thrusters. A Zaldaran patrol ship, sleek and opalescent, deployed medics and soldiers. Ari's eye was saluted and escorted aboard. Her injuries tended with reverence. Elias stood back, uncertain, ready to disappear into the background. But she turned and called his name.